the rest of your life. If you go to your handouts for today on Bulldog Connect, you will see this sheet. If you're at all able to print that out, please do, because you're going to use it. And you're going to have to turn your computer on and off a number of times during this session so that you can fill out this sheet as I'm asking you to fill it out. So what I'm going to do is read down through this and give you a few seconds, in which time I assume you're going to turn off your computer and complete what I've asked you to do and then turn it back on. So this is called The Rest of My Life. It comes from the Values Realization Institute, an organization that changed my life and on which I served on their board for a while. The topic is living life more fully through values realization. And as you realize these things, you will have a better grip on how to understand what your ethical standards are, what your values are, what your morals are. But you have to realize what your values are first. This is for individuals interested in improving the quality of their lives, and I'm going to assume all of you wish you could improve the quality of your lives, especially right now. This exercise is kind of like a workshop. It's meant to clarify the process by which you examine your life so as to help determine what you want and what you don't want. To deal with the value-rich areas of your life clearly and cogently. What do you really value? And what don't you really value? And thirdly, it's a process to help you examine, to move toward overall well-being, founded on a life that's congruent with your values. What's the sense of living a life that's not congruent with your values? Is this going to make you frustrated and upset and angry all the time? You have to get your lifestyle to match what your value system is. So, you have this sheet. I want you to write down over here 12 things that you like to do. It could be anything from as simple as brushing your teeth to taking a trip. 12 things you like to do or want to do. Let's make it broader. 12 things you like to do or you want to do. Excuse me. And it could be things like brushing your teeth, sleeping 8 hours a night. It could be taking a trip to Kuala Lumpur or to Ecuador or to Australia. But mix and match them. 12 things you like to do now, and 12 part of those need to be things that you really would like to do. So turn off your computer now and spend a few minutes doing that. Okay, we're back. In the A column, put a check mark by any of the 12 things over here that you like to do alone. What do you like to do alone? Put a check mark in the A box. Then next, put a check mark in the O box if these over here are things you like to do with other people. Are they things you like to or you want to do with other people? In the dollar column, put a check mark here for any of these things that cost you less than $250. A check mark in the dollar column for any of these things that cost you less than $250 to do, or will cost you less than that to do. Now, some things like taking a walk every day, you don't have to plan to do, you just kind of do it. But in the P column, I want you to put a check mark by those things that are going to take some clear planning. They're going to take some time, they're going to take some effort to plan out to do. Put a check mark in those boxes. And then in the S, check off things that are spontaneous, things you can just go and do if you feel like it, because you like to do it. Put a check mark in that box. Now, where the asterisk is, this column right here, put a check mark by the 5 of these 12 things that are most important to you. The 5 that are most important. Next, in this column that says time limit, or last time, can't read upside down. Put a check mark. It's not accurate. I want you to write in there if you've done any particular one of these things in the last 2 days. Just write in there 2 days. Now I want you to go down and write in your last time. If you've done it in the last month, just write last month. For those things over here that you like to do that you've done in the last month. Next, I want you to go down through your list and those things that you've done in the past year. Write past year in here. And then lastly, if you haven't done something you like to do or you want to do, put in there haven't done. Just write in haven't done. Now in the last column, the 52, put a check mark if the thing over here is something that you would like to do every single week, once a week at least, for the next year. Put a check mark here if this is something you'd like to do at least once a week for the rest, for a whole year. Now I want you to take a look at this, a good hard look at it. Look at the things you like to do and you want to do. Look at how often you do them. What do they cost? Do they all take money? Are some free? Or some little cost? Do they take a lot of planning, or do you just do things you like to do in the spur of the moment? Which ones do you have to spend time planning, and which ones happen on the spur of the moment? Are you doing consistently a lot? Things that you like to do. Are there things in that 52 column that you'd like to do once a week for a year that you aren't doing? Well then, for heaven's sake, why not if you like to do it? How often do you do the things that you can do often? Do you not do them often? And if that's the case, why not? If you enjoy them, how often do you do them? How often do you make time, find time to do things you like to do? Now, lastly, I want you to think for yourself, what has this exercise shown you? You've looked at things you like to do, and you've decided whether or not they're things you do alone. Think about why you like to do them alone. You've thought about things possibly that you want to do or are doing with someone else. You've thought about things that cost little or nothing or modest amount versus things that cost quite a bit. There might be some things you like to do that need to be planned out ahead of time. Can you do that by yourself? Or do you need some help? Do you need a travel agent, for instance? Do you need a new vehicle? Do you need money? What are spontaneous things? What are things you like to do that you just go do? And then, when did you do each of these things? Are you doing the things you like to do? If you do the things you like to do on a regular basis, your life and the attitude you have about life will be positive, and how you look at ethical issues will begin with that positive attitude. If you begin with you're tired, you're sleepy, you're not doing what you like to do, you're overwhelmed, then it's likely that you start out thinking about things where you need to make ethical judgments from a low point. And I might suggest you don't want to do that. So take a good hard look at these. How are you doing? How often are you doing what you like to do? And if so, how often? And then get to work.